The sky over the Gold Coast fractures, not with thunder, but with the sound of 1,000 invisible webs snapping at once. In the center of the chaos stands a creature of impossible contradictions, a spider with the eyes of a king and the grin of a thief. He does not fight with steel or fire, but with a secret so volatile it could erase the memory of every civilization on Earth. To understand this theft, we must travel back to the dawn of the Akan people, where the boundary between the divine and the mortal was a thin, permeable veil. At the apex of this world sat Naim, the sky god who held a monopoly on all the stories in existence, locking them in a celestial vault. Stories were not mere entertainment, they were the blueprints of reality, the very codes that defined how a culture breathed and survived. Anansi, the trickster, looked upon this hoarding of knowledge and saw not a divine right, but a cosmic injustice waiting to be exploited. He began a campaign of psychological warfare, weaving a web of lies that would lure the sky god into a gamble for the ownership of truth. But as Anansi claimed the stories, a glitch emerged in the transfer. The tales began to mutate, drifting across oceans to foreign shores. This was the first inkling of the central secret, that gods do not just create culture, they harvest it from those they conquer. As the Middle Passage began, Anansi's stories traveled in the minds of the enslaved, acting as a psychic shield against total erasure. The foreign gods of the New World attempted to overwrite these narratives, imposing a new order to silence the whispers of the spider. Yet, Anansi had anticipated this. He had embedded a hidden mechanism within the myths, a virus of resilience that could hide in plain sight. The central secret remained buried, a dormant seed waiting for the moment when the conqueror's own culture became brittle and hollow. The escalation reached its peak when the stolen stories began to bleed back into the mainstream, rewriting the identity of the conquerors themselves. The shocking truth is that Anansi never intended to just save his people. He intended to hijack the very concept of divinity. By allowing the foreign gods to steal the culture, he turned their victory into a Trojan horse, infiltrating their consciousness. The art of the steal was not the loss of heritage, but the strategic deployment of it to colonize the mind of the colonizer. The loop closes. The sky god's vault was not broken into, it was replaced by a web that now spans the entire globe. The spider is still weaving, and you are already caught in the thread. Subscribe for more.